right here this morning, can you say that you are living your life as if Jesus is the cornerstone? As if he is the Lord? As if there is no other God but Christ? Or are you trying to avoid his claims on your life? Or are you trying to wriggle out of it? See, if someone were to look at your finances, or if someone were to look at what you do with your spare time, or if someone were to look at how you handle conflict with your spouse or with your friends or with people in your workplace, or if someone were to look at how you treat your spouse or kids, would they see that Jesus is the cornerstone? Would they come away knowing, obviously, that you have been with Jesus, as the people in this story come away knowing that these early Christians have been with Jesus? Can you say that? I was really challenged by that as I was looking through that this week. Does your life have solid foundations? Is Jesus the truth on which you are building your life? Not perfectly, but intentionally. There's a difference between those two things. Are you intentionally building your life upon Christ? You know, there's a story that I heard from a pastor who said that there was a woman who was considering Christianity for some time. She'd been attending the church sort of around the fringes. She'd had a friend who'd brought her along, and she'd heard a lot of the gospel over the years. She'd heard a lot of the Bible, but she was sort of hesitating to make a commitment. And she was clearly unhappy about it because she couldn't go back to the life that she'd lived before. She'd known about Jesus, but she couldn't quite go forwards and become a Christian and make that commitment. So the pastor sat down and ran through the usual theological, intellectual problems with her, but it wasn't any of those. He realized after a while that it wasn't anything to do with that. And the woman eventually said to him, look, here's what I'm struggling with. If Jesus really is Lord of all, and if he's really saved me by sheer grace alone and no works of my own, then there's no limit to what he can ask me to do. He's got to be the center of everything if the gospel is true. He could ask me to go to the other end of the earth. He could ask me to give up all of my money. And I would have to say yes, because he's got to be Lord of all or not at all. He's got to be the cornerstone. See, nobody can avoid making truth claims. But we either try and ignore our own biases, like our culture does, or avoid the truth claims that Jesus makes on our own lives. So we settle for living in some miserable, shallow middle ground, and we're not happy. Christian, if you're not happy here this morning, it might be because you are trying to avoid Jesus' exclusive claims on your life. And can I challenge you and say that you might be happier if you threw your whole self upon him? That is one thing that stops you from maybe stepping over the edge and placing your whole weight and building your whole hope on Jesus Christ alone.